story-driven playthrough for my channel. We are going to be playing Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Now, for all of my Warhammer Fantasy friends who are returning viewers, do let me know if this is the kind of Let's Play series that you would like to see in the future, and also for new viewers to the channel too. I am very much open to tips, guides, and also very much open to backseating. Now, I am also recording this on TikTok as well, so some of the things that I will be including in the VOD that I will be uploading to YouTube will be scripted or also jump cuts, so do let me know if you would like to see that kind of editing, or if you would like me to just keep the VOD for the live stream as it is. I am going to try to make things as well edited and polished as I can for YouTube, and also to make that video more enjoyable for viewers on that platform. But also, with housekeeping aside, this is essentially just going to be a new Let's Play series for the channel, and also it's to kind of expand my horizons for different kinds of games that we'll be enjoying. But we will be playing a new game. This is a blind playthrough. And yeah, we'll be doing the main story. Difficulty, I am going to keep it normal, just because this is going to be my first CRPG game that I've played in a while. So I don't want it to be overly difficult where it's not as enjoyable, but also I don't want it to be as easy per se. And yeah, I think we're going to leave all of these to their default, but also for anyone watching, please let me know if you would like to see me bump up the difficulty, or if you would like to see me give more of a challenge for myself, or tweak around some things. Alright, let's see. We can do a pre-generated character, or we can customize one. Alright, so we have a soldier, Imperial World, Astra Militarum Commander, Feat of Greatness, Brand of Shame. Alright, so these are all pre-generated, but I think I want to do a customized character. And I think I want to do a character that's based off Elspeth Von Draken. If we can make an Inquisitor type of character similar to her. Alright, let's see. We can choose a portrait. Alright, which one looks most like Elspeth? Ooh, actually, this one might do, just because Psykers, and also Elspeth being a sorceress herself. You can also do a customized portrait. Oh wow, we can even upload our own. That's interesting. Alright, we'll go with this one for now. Hair appearance, let's just do... Yeah, I'm basing it off of Mixu's Elspeth Von Draken, which has a sort of longer hair. Oh, we can even give ourselves chaos tattoos. That's kind of ironic. Alright, augmentations. Alright, I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. Sorry if there's any echoes there. Ooh, heretic, that's gonna... Ooh, I actually kind of like that one. Alright, we can choose which world we're from as well. And like I mentioned before too, if all of you have a meta build for a character in Rogue Trader, please do let me know what your personal preference will be. But with our Death World, we can do a Death World, Hive World, Forge World. Voidborn, that's interesting. Okay, I think to keep with the theme of Elspeth, we're going to do an Imperial World. Because she is from Wissenland herself, and that's pretty much near the heart of the Empire. Hailing from hyper-technological societies to grimy, feudal populations, the inhabitants of countless worlds offer fealty and devotion to the master of humanity and the imperial creed espoused by his servants. Designation of Imperial World encompasses a vast array of wholly similar worlds that are nevertheless part of the Imperial. Humanity's finest. Any characteristic except for weapon skill or ballistic skill and add +10. Okay, so that gives us versatility. Ready to serve. Affected by an ally's non-damaging ability or affects an ally with such an ability, their resolve is increased by spell bonus for 1 round. Better to die for the Emperor. 40%, well, under 40% wounds. Imperial World characters gain a +10 bonus to all characteristics and a +2 to resolve. Okay, that sounds like we're going to be able to stand our ground in battle or to take hits. Okay, let's see. We can do strength, toughness, agility. I think we're gonna have to go with either intelligence or willpower, just to keep me with the roleplay of Elspeth. Characters deal 5% more damage with non-burst range area attacks. Affects the lore of the warp. Okay. Tech use skills. What does willpower give us? Reflects the character's ability to withstand the horrors of the warp, terrors of space, and the dreadful opponents that they are bound to encounter in the Corona's expanse. Exert control over a crowd or interrogate a heretic. Resisting negative mental effects and... Ooh, okay. Willpower, I think, might... we'll have to choose that one. Resisting psychic powers. I do want to take a look at some of the other bonuses. Reduce enemy dodge. Improves character's initiative, dodge, chance, and reaction. Plus 10% to wounds. %10 more damage with melee weapons. Fellowship. Okay, yeah, that's what it sounds like. Persuasion, coercion. Alright, I think we're gonna have to go with willpower too. Just because Elspeth herself has pretty strong willpower herself, and also she does have bonuses against, well, vampires mostly and undead, but also she's capable of going up against chaos. Okay, we can be a commissar, Astra Militarum commander. Allies deal additional damage to enemies that are adjacent to the commander. Okay, well that's very situational and positioning matters. Single target melee attack applies to the following attacks. All allies gain an additional +1 AP and MP for 1 round. That sounds useful. Okay, if we were a priest... Okay, additional willpower bonus. And momentum. Alright, so this is definitely more of a support role. Okay, actually, you know what? I think we'll have to go with Sanctioned Psyker for Elspeth. Psykers are feared and distrusted, but are nonetheless valuable assets to the Imperium. The role of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica is to recruit, identify, and classify those found to possess psychic abilities. The most powerful who somehow survive the rigorous sanctioning rituals are selected to serve on the battlefield. The mind of a sanctioned psyker is steeled against the manifold dangers risked by wielders of warp powers. You were one of those found noteworthy to serve humanity and have miraculously survived the perils of the warp. Damaging psyker powers count as weapon attacks, counting toward the normal attack limit per turn, and gaining all of the benefits of the abilities and talents, increasing the damage of attacks. Soldier using the run and gun ability will be able to use damaging psyker powers twice per turn. Operatives analyze enemies' ability affects the damage of damaging psyker powers. Reduced chances of psychic phenomena. Okay, that does say... Right, I do remember in the lore that each time you use psychic powers that it opens up, or it makes the user more open to being possessed by demons or other dangerous things happening. Okay, so we can be a biomancer, diviner, pyromancer, santic, telepath. Psykers of the Santic discipline master their connection to the Golden Throne to support allies with holy might and stave off demons and heretics. Okay, this is very tempting for a support role. What is diviner? Discern the hidden past of the galaxy and know the course of events yet to come. Look into the twisting strands of the immaterium in search of the answers they seek, and sometimes even influence the outcome of fate itself. Okay, a little bit of support and utility from what it looks like. Power of their minds, masters of the flesh. Own physical forms according to their will. I wish there was some kind of lore of death, because that... Oh, actually maybe telepath. Conjunction with their own minds to delude, control, and destroy the minds of their enemies. With a single thought, a telepath can tear away his foe's sanity, induce the states of numbing terror, and possess his victims' thoughts, and mold their actions as if they were their own. Oh, okay. Psychic damage. This actually kind of... For my personal headcanon, this does lean into what Elspeth would want to have if she were in 40k. Ooh, okay. I do love the sound and also the description of these. That test fails, the target immediately attacks its allies. Okay. Yeah, I like the idea of dominating, and also, well, this is almost sort of like, not necessarily a summoning, but then also being able to control enemies against their will. Creation of countless enemies against humanities. Persuasion. Feat of greatness. Mystery, a powerful psychically active Xeno artifact. Okay, I think I might do this one. Lore of Xenos. Knowledge of the alien species to the Imperium, the threat they pose, and their general appearance may give access to new dialogue options. Disable traps of Xenos origin. Okay. So instead of being anti-vampire, we'll make this Elspeth anti-Xenos. Accused of being possessed by a warp entity and forced into exile, leaving your soul forever scarred. Caused a warp manifestation aboard a void ship, claiming thousands of lives in the end. Shadow of torment and error during the sanctioning process brought you many hours of agony, which cost you your life. Lore of the warp. -5. That. Don't want that for us. Allows them to convince any logical inconsistencies in other people's words. Also, it helps to operate cogitators more efficiently. Access to new dialogue options. I'm tempted to go with Grim Portents just because, well, for roleplay purposes too. -5 to logic doesn't sound too bad either. Plus, also, it's definitely something that, sadly, Elspeth herself would probably go through. She goes through something similar in fantasy in terms of most of the Elector counts not necessarily trusting her or seeing her in a bad light. Okay, we can be a warrior, officer, operative. Use willpower and fellowship to improve combat capabilities of their allies. Okay, extra turns, single target buffs, rescuing allies, momentum. What does operative give? Intelligence and perception to find and exploit weaknesses in an enemy's defenses. None can withstand an attack from an operative. Single attacks, defense penetration, area debuffs, consistent firing position. Voice of command. Yeah, it is either officer or operative for roleplay purposes with Elspeth. Alright, I think I might do officer just to roleplay as the commander of our squad. And I do like the idea of extra turns and momentum. All forms of close combat increases their parry and reduces enemy parry chance against melee attacks. It also increases chances of scoring critical hits in melee combat. Alright, well, we're not gonna focus too much on weapon skill. Toughness could be useful. Resist toxins, poisonous environments. Resist to negative physical effects and the amount of characters. Ooh, actually, hang on. I say we double down on willpower. Resist negative and mental effects. Okay. Well, we can... we already have bonuses to that. Alright, and increasing the lore of would be very useful too, but also ranged area attacks. That's going to really help us out a ton too. Ballistic skill, let's see. I think that's just raw range weapon damage. Hit chance, ranged effectiveness. Alright, let's just increase that to there. Oh, it looks like we have a cap on how much we can increase by. And yeah, I do want to be using more psychic power, so let's just continue to double down on willpower. We have 10 more. Toughness. Alright, I think that should round us out fairly enough. And also for any of my YouTube viewers, please do let me know if you would like to see me reallocate skills, and also, like I mentioned too, critiquing my character builds or how I can make things better for this playthrough. I'm very much open for it. Alright, so we can choose a storm class or firestorm. Decent firepower, high speed, and respective survivability. Maneuverability are perfect for pursuing smaller, faster raiders and for hunting the countless pirates, xenos, and heretics. Numerous Von Valanicus rogue traders have acknowledged the exceptional performance of this vessel. Few minor updates. Okay, let's see what's different about this one. Hard-hitting volleys from weapons and turrets with pinpoint accuracy. Rugged yet reliable in extreme conditions. Size and maneuverability are perfect for pursuing smaller, faster raiders and for hunting. Okay, now hang on. Is this essentially just pretty much similar? They seem very much identical. Oh, we can even name this too. I do like the sleeker design of this specific ship. Alright, I do like the sound of the Wissenland. Alright, and this is our Psyker, Elspeth Von Draken. As I said before, please do let me know if this is a close representation of what Elspeth's counterpart would look like in 40k, and if you have a different way of building her or getting more lore accurately close to her character. I really do want to hear your thoughts in the comments below, but let's get started now.
An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity.
Truly an awe-inspiring sight. Frankly, such access can be tiring at times. I'm also going to try to choose dialogue that's what Elspeth would choose with her character. Laughable pretense. It is enough to make one think that the architects meant to compensate rather than glorify. Okay, that is really up Elspeth's alley of not just cheekiness, but defiance of the other Imperial Elector counts. Do you have a particular reason for disturbing me? I like either 3 or 5.
Interesting perspective. However, allow me to offer you a bit of advice. In the interests of your own well-being, you should frame your thoughts with greater piety. Demonstrating such a lack of care when choosing your words might be viewed by certain people as evidence of insufficient trepidation before the God Emperor, the master of humanity.
Merely criticize the talentless architects of this place, nothing more. I prefer to serve by acting, not speaking. I thank you for your advice. I shall strive to follow it in the future. I do not show deference for things I do not believe in myself. You seem to attach much importance to words. Well, I have a fondness for names. I have yet to hear... okay. 5, not necessarily Elspethy. Do not show a deference for things I do not believe in myself. Thank you for your advice. Serve by acting, not speaking. Yeah, Elspeth definitely serves through her actions rather than words.
That is commendable. Quite so. However, there are many, many who believe that toils in his name start with diligence in choosing one's own words. Remember that when next you are presented with the privilege of conversing about him with loyal servants of the Imperium. Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valencius, at your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before.
Voigtveer bows his head and focuses his attention on you. Elspeth Von Draken. And so, as to avoid any misunderstanding, I am a sanctioned Psyker.
I am aware of that fact. It would have been unacceptable negligence to have overlooked such a detail when compiling your profile. Fate bestowed upon you powers of witchcraft, and a duty to use them for the good of the Imperium. Yours is truly an unenviable lot. I will be frank with you. You may forget your past titles, no matter who gave them to you, or what their origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencias and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth, you share your dynastic name with her ladyship. Bear it with honor.
Lord Captain, a strange title for the Lady Theodora. Why am I aboard this vessel? Why have I been brought here? You have a curious title, Master of Whispers. What are your responsibilities? I am actually pretty curious with that one. Tell me about the one whose ship I have found myself. You say I am one of the rogue trader's heirs, so there is another candidate? I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it. I think either 6 or 5. Yeah, let's see what goal he has in mind for us.
I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Ethelthrad von Valencias are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
Intriguing. Powers unseen uncover my path.
One of the Von Valencias trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain. What's happening?
Oh. Oh. Oh, okay, rogue servitors. Oh my god. Okay, well, this is an interesting combat tutorial for us.
Let us savor the coming storm.
To survive in the grim darkness of the far future, you will have to face enemies of all kinds and fight for your life. These hints and tutorials will familiarize you with the combat system. And I have played Baldur's Gate many times before, so I'm semi-familiar with CRPG battles. Oh wow, okay, there. Turn-based and take place on the grid. Yep. Movement points determine how far a character can move on their turn. Force an ally to fully push themselves, increasing their characteristics by +13. Amplified to the target voice of command. Alright, let's actually buff our allies before trying to engage the servitor ourselves. Can we see how far this enemy can move? Only used once per turn. If a character performs an attack action, they will not be able to attack again. Can we scream from here?
I need no guidance. I won't waste my time on that.
Oh, okay. Oh, come on, crew officer. Okay, that was my bad. I mean, I probably should have used my pistol instead.
One step closer.
Alright, this is bad. Oh, can you do anything but just analyze?
Death to the heretics!
I reject the very idea.
What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan.
Also, everyone, please do let me know in the comments too if there is a way I could have saved, quote-unquote, the rest of those crew members, or if it does matter in the long run too.
I'm afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
Okay, end of the corridor.
The world will bow.
That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide. Practically an admission of heresy.
Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation. No worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Ion 6, Edelthrad?
I am here to speak with the Lord, Captain.
Is this someone from your retinue, Theodora? Do you permit your people to interrupt your conversations in such a fashion?
I give that permission to those with something of substance to say. Let us see if it was worth it. This is the second candidate for the title of my successor. Step forward. Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6. A new world on the fringes of the Coronis expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that
Chaos.
those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure?
Poison treasure. Those spirits could well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if that is indeed the case and if the population of Ion engages in Xeno worship. Ways to confirm whether what is happening on Aeon is witchcraft or not. It might cost several Psykers to do so, but it will give us the answer. Okay, yeah, I feel like the second option would be what Elspeth would choose. Personal abilities. Not necessarily. Purge for the good of the Imperium. A little bit dogmatic. Or we might as well use Lore of the Warp too.
Presumptuous. It took me a great deal to find one Psyker who could serve me well for many years. Yet you speak of several.
Sanctioned Psykers are rare and valuable instruments of the Golden Throne. Or do you suggest that we use heretics, who are an offense to the God Emperor's light? It would be rather careless of you to utter such profanity in the presence of his faithful servants.
I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was still more than you could do, Edelthrad. We are both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Does it become anyone of our status to engage in petty feuds? Okay, yeah, that's right up what Elspeth would say. She doesn't really like getting involved in the politics of the Empire. On your tone most disagreeable, Edelthrad, you will kindly alter the manner in which you address me, or else you will live to regret your consequences. Shut your mouth, Edelthrad, before I decide to shut it for you. Very tempting to choose that one.
Even among his flock, not all are of a piece. I suggest you familiarize yourself with that fact before you are sorely...
Edelthrad, I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck, instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview.
I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time.
Edelthrad bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing you another look.
So, why are you here?
Was it not you who sent for me? There are questions that I wish to have answered. I do not know just yet. I hope you will clarify that.
You are direct. I approve. But you will have to wait. There is something I want you to understand first. My name is Theodora von Valancius Massimo of Scaris.
That's a title.
I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity. And my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic. The warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness, beyond the Imperium, and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign, and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon. Resources, people, riches, and mysteries is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you are one of those with Von Valancius blood in their veins.
Von Draken-one Valancius, I love that.
Inheritance when the hour comes.
I think we made a pretty thematic character with this playthrough. Well, first blind playthrough, I should say. Ready to take on this sacred purpose. It's all too sudden for me. Does this mean there are other heirs? Yeah, I bet Elspeth would be very concerned about others getting in her way.
Naturally. Some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Ethelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voitvir served me for many years before he made his mistake.
Did I hear you correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you. If you are satisfied with Ethelthrad, then what sense is there in having this conversation? Why are you wasting your time on... Ooh, I don't really want to push my luck with that. Thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now? Unintelligible noise.
Before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge.
Navigator, translation, what are these things that you speak of? Incident took place on the officer's deck. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew. Where is the ship headed? What are my current responsibilities?
Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did for Ethelthrad. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide.
Where is your ship headed?
The Rykad system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Besides me, 2 other rogue traders exist in the Coronis Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valancius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. I set the course for Rykad on the demand for a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose for this voyage, but now is not the time.
An incident took place on the officer's deck. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew.
Is that so? Perhaps the technomats were careless during maintenance. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Gellerfield. Or perhaps there is something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all.
Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread about by uneducated riffraff.
Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folks speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live.
I will give the game a lot of credit for the great voice acting. Navigator translation, what are these things that you speak of?
Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Gellerfield, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars.
Alright, the third option definitely is not something Elspeth herself would say. Yeah, there's no way Elspeth would actually grovel like that. No more questions for now.
I shall head to. Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated.
Alright, we'll end the dialogue there. Oh, Marauders or Chaos Heretics? Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Well, that's a lot of enemies for us to take down.
I march for power.
You'll make a suitable sacrifice.
Yeah, no, that's definitely Chaos Yeah, Heretic Cutthroats, definitely Chaos Worshippers.
For now.
Try and tested tactics are the best ones.
Oh, okay, double kill for Abelard.
My faith strengthens me. Die!
Okay, double kill.
Bring ruin.
Just a minor setback.
Alright, good decent dodge from us. Avoid enemy attacks with cover. Cover that a character can hide behind are marked with a shield or a shield with a skull. Character will automatically take up an advantageous position. Hit the cover and not the character behind. Alright, where can we find some decent cover?
Through chaos I stride.
Okay, if we do a psychic attack there. Alright, let's actually boost Mort.
I will not stoop to this. What a satisfying demise.
Alright, and we'll stay in cover for now.
Out of my way.
Mort's boosted.
I serve the ruin of
Yeah, Mort's gonna be tanking up a lot of hits. I guess Abelard as well.
unbelievers.
Ooh, okay. Okay, massive plasma burst there.
My
Looks like there's opportunity of attack, just like in Baldur's Gate.
I took care of this one. Weapon at the ready. Glory of the Imperium!
Okay, where's the last cutthroat? Okay, can we make the shot from there? Okay, miss, but...
I can handle this.
Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single whoreson survive. Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, huh? Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel.
Looks at the Vox in her hand. All you can hear is lifeless static. What is happening?
From what we have seen, I can speculate that we are dealing with some variety of madness induced by warp travel. Such episodes are not uncommon among voidsmen who have found themselves outside the boundaries of real space, though such episodes seldom spill onto other decks.
Oh, the casters are not working, or have been sabotaged. Either the warp is toying with us, or someone went to great lengths to cut the ship's communications. I will need a direct channel to the engine seer prime before I can get a sense of what we are up against. Whatever it may be, keep your weapons at the ready. I imagine it will be some time before we no longer need them.
The incident with the rampaging servitors may be connected to what is transpiring now.
Possibly. Quite likely. We will investigate at a later time. Right now, we need to isolate the affected compartments and try to assess the situation.
Your orders?
Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the Arch-Militant requires aid. And be quick about it.
Okay, where has Mort gone? Character has received a temporary positive effect from an ally. Effects enhance your character's abilities in combat in some way. Once we are done with the riot, I want to have a look at the logisticers' reports. We need to understand what happened on the decks during the warp jump and the preparations preceding it.
Opportunity.
Ooh, okay, gunfight going on. Keep firing, you oafs. No cowering and no hiding. You see the traitor, you kill the traitor.
Thank Providence you are alive and well.
Always on time, eh, Coonrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it.
Mort, hold yourself together.
What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away.
Mort pulls his Vox from the belt and hurriedly reports on the situation.
Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent. The Vox Master is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report!
I have not yet received word from the engineering regarding any Gellerfield failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That the madmen have already reached the officers' deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny.
If this is indeed a severe case of warp madness, then the situation is dire. We must provide immediate assistance to those still on the middle decks. Perhaps then we might stop this wave from spreading. I think this would be the pragmatic choice Elspeth herself would choose.
First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure. And I have the means to do both things at once.
Her expression changes as her eyes flash ominously.
Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A Psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons.
I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on transitional deck 18.
Blast it! Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-Militant, with me.
I hope we get the Arch-Militant as a party member.
It appears we might encounter heretics along the way.
Glances at you thoughtfully. Yo, John, what's going on, brother? How's it going? Dude, it's great to see you, my man. So right now we are doing a blind playthrough of Rogue Trader, and we're doing a thematic let's play as well. So the theme that I'm going for is we are basing our customized and not Inquisitor, but our customized character off of Elspeth Von Draken from Total War Warhammer. So essentially 40k and Warhammer Fantasy, they're kind of like mirror opposites of each other. So we are trying to make a 40k version of what Elspeth would be if she found herself in that universe instead of Warhammer Fantasy. And yeah, Elspeth herself uses a lot of dark and twisted powers in Warhammer Fantasy, so we decided to go with a Psyker and using a lot of mind control or mind damaging abilities. Sounds super sick. I'm glad you think so, my friend. But how's your day going, man? And also, John, are you planning on streaming tonight or tomorrow night? I know you usually stream Tuesday nights, but I know you mentioned on Discord that you wanted to add an extra stream in, potentially for the Memorial Day weekend. And this is only just the beginning of the game, so it's essentially like a tutorial level.
And if our goal is to bring Edelthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the house as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Edelthrad's Psyker powers.
And also, John, a little bit more about this game. It is Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. It's one of the games that Tuna and I were talking about earlier on Discord as well. It's a CRPG, very, very similar to Baldur's Gate 3. But in terms of aesthetics, Baldur's Gate fantasy, and this is more so sci-fi fantasy. So there's a little bit of magic, but there's a lot of space themes as well. I absolutely love this game so much. I'm not even that far into it, but it's definitely going to be one of those games that I play more of in the next coming days.
Whatever state you find him. This elevator leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand?
In whatever state, what does this mean? I hear and obey, Lord Captain. I shall do everything in my power. I cannot promise that I won't lose our dearest heir somewhere along the way. Okay, that's That's a really dark dialogue option, but I feel like it's definitely something Elspeth herself would say. And that's the thing with Elspeth Von Draken, is she is technically one of the good guys and heroes in Warhammer Fantasy, but also she's not necessarily the most pleasant to be around, if that makes sense. And she does a lot of questionable things and magical practices in her spare time.
Conrad, keep an eye on our spirited guest. You are personally responsible. Mort!
I really like Mort as a character, and also he's a useful party member too. Lurking, appreciate you, brother.
Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you do not even have proper gear.
Recently released? I think it released last year, if I remember right. I know you said you're lurking, John, but what are you having for dinner, if you don't mind me asking? Let's see, I shall make do, lead the way. I have a proposition. Since I am the more important person here, you can go in the front to shield me from potential... Okay. No, Elspeth isn't that mean. Better not fail me. The Lord Captain made it clear that relying on you is fraught with risk.
I see you have quickly earned Lady Theodora's trust. If she is already sharing her closely guarded secrets with you. But that is no longer relevant.
Something hits you hard with a sharp crackle, and you are consumed by unbearable gut-wrenching pain. Ooh, okay. Oh, are you the traitor? Special destiny, Elspeth Von Draken. It is time to fulfill it.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. She has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warren Chamber, and for that, I need her breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful.
You are the one behind this mayhem.
How perceptive of you. I'll help you with the next insight. I need you here for your blood. You have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself. We are in the anteroom of the Warren Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
Oh, I'm tempted to use psychic powers against Void. Is your blood too thin for the Sentinel? Also another option that Elspeth would say. She wouldn't be a traitor despite it being dark herself. Ironically too, Elspeth is one of the most loyal of the Elector Counts. Close your eyes and try to focus, and then you feel a touch of something sharp. Void has somehow sensed a shift in the warp and delivered a preemptive strike. The blade flashes in the dim of light, and drops of blood appear on your palm. For a brief moment, you feel nauseous. Your head is spinning, and then quiet whispers begin to flood your mind. More and more sourceless voices echo each other, drowning out your own thoughts, replacing them with a singular urge. Go to the gate. Go to the gate. Fight the voice in your head. Get out, I am not your puppet. I will do as you require, but I will find a way to make you pay for this, you filth. Enough threats, I will comply with your demands, to the void with you. Fight the voice in my head. The voices in your head giggle and mock your desperate outcry. You feel this intruding influence forcing you onto your feet and making you take a step toward the gates looming in the center of the chamber. Intruding influence. It is highlighted in blue, so it could be Tzeentch or a demon of Tzeentch influencing us. In the gateway arch, you see a cogitator with a human likeness built in the front panel. Into the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automaton created from a lobotomized human being. The sentinel turns its head to you, one of its eye sockets lighting up with two ember-like irises. Examine the device, look back, look for anything that could be used as a weapon. I want to check out the device itself. You carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that is used as material for your machine, for the machine's components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect this might be some kind of archaeotech relic. Gain 20 experience. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With the screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward, closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. A whisper runs through your consciousness, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after Void wounded you with his blade did not go away. On the contrary, their source coiled itself into a tight knot somewhere in the depths of your mind. Sentinel's maw, look back, examine the sentinel. Anything that could be used as a weapon. You look around in hopes of finding at least something that could work as a weapon. Your search is in vain. The chamber anteroom is completely empty and in perfect working condition. Nary a broken panel or a protruding piece of rebar in sight. The servitor looks noticeably different from the ones you are used to. Its skin covering is stitched together with copper thread, and it has metal hinges in place of the standard joints. It seems that the creators of the Sentinel did everything to ensure that the service life of this unit would be much longer than that of ordinary automatons.
Did you forget something? I suggest you hurry.
I guess we don't have any choice but to place our hand. The Sentinel's jaws clamp around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. A few dark drops fall onto the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vidscreen of the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes pass. The Sentinel's jaws remain closed, and you are beginning to feel sick. Perhaps you were to lean against the gate and you could catch your breath. Maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever happened. You do not understand where this quiet voice is coming from, crackling like static. Is it the Sentinel, the cogitator? Is it a figment of your weary mind? Whichever it is, you can clearly hear every word. I suppose this is the onset of the warp madness they warned me about. Ooh, defense, okay.
There is still another way.
Oh, okay, just disappearing into the void like that. Check the warrant chamber. Let it be known that my will and the true words of this document, I appoint this person to be the bearer. Paragon of humanity, adversity, walk bravely first into darkness and unite to reclaim what to triumph over nightmares untold, to hold boldly the reins of fate.
Escort the child of the house to safety.
What madness is happening here? Who are you? Who addresses me? I need to contact someone, preferably Theodora. Utterly defenseless.
Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
Voxmaster, restore communication with the navigator's sanctum. I am trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper deck at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head...
Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way connection.
Need a weapon.
Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations. Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel standing by.
Are you the Warrant Sentinel?
Unit of the Warrant Sentinel designed as a personal escort of the child of the house and a means of communicating with the rogue trader's subjects. Mobile unit standing by.
Lead me away from here.
Upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
Alright, my friends, I'll be wrapping up the first episode of this playthrough here. Do let me know in the comments if this is something that you would love to see more of in future episodes, and also if you think that I got the character design and theme right from Elspeth in Warhammer Fantasy over into 40k. I do want to hear any kind of feedback in terms of improvement, or also tips and guides on character builds. And regardless of whether you're a returning or a new viewer, thank you so much for taking the time to check out this video, and I'll save you a seat at the table for the next adventure, friends. Take care and farewell.